Now, all right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. And today we shall be talking about mastering self-confidence. I apologize for my voice. I don't know what's going on. It seems like I have some sort of cold or something. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully my voice will get better. Anyway, as we talk about self-confidence, let's look at the reason we need to have self-confidence. Self-confidence plays a very, very important role in our personal and professional growth. Literally, self-confidence empowers us to overcome challenges. Self-confidence also enables us to take risks. Why? Because we believe we can succeed, and it helps us seize opportunities for the same reason. So let's look into the strategies and mindset shifts that can help us develop and master self-confidence. To begin, what is self-confidence? Self-confidence is the belief in our abilities, it's the belief in our worth, and it's the belief in our potential that we possess. Self-confidence, contrary to what a lot of people think, actually goes beyond self-esteem. Self-confidence encompasses our thoughts, it encompasses our emotions, it also encompasses our behaviors. Sorry, I've been drinking tea all morning. When we have self-confidence, we approach life with a positive outlook and are more likely to achieve our goals. You can have two people with the same objective, one lacking self-confidence, one having self-confidence. 99.999% of the time, the person with self-confidence will achieve it. Why? Because that's how the universe works. Okay, so now the question might be, all right, that's great. I've heard what self-confidence is, but how do I build up my self-confidence? What do I need to do as an individual to build up my self-confidence? Well, building self-confidence starts with recognizing our strengths and our past accomplishments. By acknowledging what we're good at and setting realistic goals. What do I mean by realistic goals? I mean goals that we know are within the realm of human possibility. I don't care how much self-confidence I have, there is absolutely positively no chance for me to jump over the moon. It's not possible. So when I say realistic goals, I mean things that are within the realm of human possibility, because if you can conceive it and you can believe it, you can definitely achieve it. So we set realistic goals, and then we have to take consistent action towards personal growth. The mistake a lot of people make is they don't take consistent action. They take action here, the right action, then they stop. Then they take action there, the right action, then they stop. And then they take action somewhere else, the right action, then they stop. Because they keep on stopping, or because they keep on slowing down, they don't have consistent action, and therefore they don't have momentum. And because they don't have those two things, their self-confidence goes lower, because if something isn't growing, it's dying, it's atrophying. The reason I do this every day is because I want to get better at it. Sometimes we all, we have a lot of people here. Sometimes we have one or two people here. It doesn't matter. I will still do it because it helps me be a better leader. And that is one of my objectives. It builds up my self-confidence as a leader. Same thing with setting appointments. I set appointments because I want to get better at setting appointments. I do appointments because I want to get better at doing appointments. My self-confidence builds up because I know I have what it takes to deliver on the tangibles I want to deliver on. So cultivating a positive mindset, practicing self-care, and seeking continuous learning opportunities enhance our self-confidence. What is having a positive mindset? The challenge with a lot of people is subconsciously they expect the worst. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you expect the worst, you will get the worst. So you have to have a positive mindset, which means you are expecting the best. Self-care, what is self-care? Practicing self-care doesn't mean that you're not going out and doing drugs, no, or not doing drugs. That's not what self-care is. Self-care is when you do what? You do the things that will make you a better version of you. For example, for me, self-care is something as simple as walking over 10,000 steps every day. Self-care. Does it help me with my psychological mental confidence? When it comes to business, no, but it helps me with my psychological mental confidence or psychological self-confidence when it comes to how I see myself. So you want to do self-care. And what is continuous learning opportunities is self-explanatory. Read every day. Every morning I wake up, and the first thing, or one of the first things I do after I pray and go over my affirmations for the day, I start reading. Actually, I do that every day because I want to become a better version of myself. And when I read and I see that, so this is how reading works. Let's say I read a book in 2015 and I implemented those things. It's 2023. I go read another book and the same concepts are in that book in a different sort of wording, maybe. But those are the things I started implementing in 2015. I'm like, haha, excellent. Because it means that I'm on the right track. So my self-confidence goes up because I know I'm doing the right thing and I have validation for it. So again, seeking continuous learning opportunities enhances our self-confidence. One thing many people have, folks, is doubt, self-doubt and fear. A lot of people have self-doubt and fear. And the challenge is self-doubt and fear often hold us back from realizing our full potential. Let me say that again. Self-doubt and fear often hold us back from realizing whose full potential, from realizing our full potential. It's important to challenge negative beliefs and self-limiting thoughts. Many of us don't do that. We don't challenge negative beliefs. We believe what we want to believe, and if it's negative, so be it. We have to challenge that. Self-limiting thoughts as well. You have to challenge self-limiting thoughts. The world is yours. Everything in it is for you. If you can conceive it and believe it, like I said earlier, you can achieve it. So you have to challenge self-limiting thoughts. We also have to embrace failure as a learning experience. A lot of us don't do something right, it doesn't work out, and we're like, oh my God, this doesn't work. It can't work. It won't work. No, folks, it works. We just have to embrace failure as a learning experience and develop resilience that will help us bounce back stronger. Because again, once you experience something 2, 3, there are certain things that happen in my life now that 5, 6 years ago would have given me, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know, would have given me stress. But because I have, for lack of a better term, gone through it before and I have that resilience, it doesn't faze me. It doesn't faze me. So I don't have fear, I don't have doubt in those regards. Stepping outside of our comfort zones and embracing new challenges gradually expands our self-confidence. We must do that. It's essential. It's not negotiable. Because if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. So now you have those things in place. What's the next thing you have to do? You have to develop assertiveness and effective communication. You see, assertiveness and effective communication play a very important role when it comes to building self-confidence, expressing our opinions and needs confidently, while also practicing active listening and empathic communication helps us have healthy relationships with others, and it strengthens our self-assurance. Setting boundaries and learning to say no when necessary also asserts our confidence. The challenge with a lot of us is we are not assertive when we need to be. And we don't communicate effectively when we need to communicate effectively. What am I saying by assertiveness? I'm not saying be a nuisance to people. I'm saying speak your truth. Speak what needs to be said to people when it needs to be said. You can't let your fear of how they will react not let you swing into action. And one simple area is in prospecting. We live in New York City. The funniest thing, literally the funniest thing to me about this organization is this. I came to New York so I could prospect people. When I became a vice president, I moved to New York simply because I knew I could prospect people. And every day, and I've said this story numerous times, and I'll keep on saying it, every day I would wake up. Back then I lived on Staten Island. I would wake up, be on the ferry by 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m., be up at 6, be on the ferry by 7:30, and start prospecting at the St. George's Terminal, which is on the Staten Island side. Prospect all the way on the ferry ride, get to Staten Island Ferry Terminal here at Whitehall in Manhattan, prospect there, and then start moving all the way up to Wall Street, to Midtown. Back then, I worked out of a cafe or a Starbucks cafe on 35th and 7th. But what would happen is, and this is, folks, this is 2007. This is before Zoom. This is before a lot of the technology we had. So I'll on my way to Starbucks, I'll probably get 20 or 30 names. It might take me, I'll get to Starbucks by 11 a.m., maybe 12, because I'm talking to everybody. Hey, hi, how are you? What's going on? Hey, da. Talking to everybody. And I was double-digit recruiting and doing 10,000 in premium. The funny thing is, some of my people got licensed before my license transferred. So they were right in business. I was still doing 10,000 in premium, none of which I got paid on. Because my license, my non-resident license didn't transfer. But the point is, I developed that self-confidence in prospecting. And some of those people are still my clients till today. So again, assertiveness comes into play when it comes to prospecting. Don't be scared to talk to people. So like the point I'm making is, I moved to New York so I can prospect, and all of you are in New York and you are not fanatical about prospecting. You want to stay at home, or you want to ride the train looking pretty, looking beautiful, looking smart. No, talk to people. So back then, just to finish my story, I'll get to Starbucks and I'll call all those people. And then like clockwork, by 4 or 5 p.m. when they get off work, they'll start showing up to Starbucks. And I'll interview them, talk to them. I'll do all I have to do with them. And some of them will do their IBAs there and then. And believe it or not, back then, IBAs were on paper. So imagine, just so you guys can understand how effective proper thinking is. You guys don't know how easy you have it. The person who met me on the street that morning came to meet me at a Starbucks that afternoon, or that evening, I guess. And back then, IBAs were $199. They were $199, not $124. The person who met me at Starbucks would literally fill out a paper application. Somebody he's never seen prior to that morning, fill out a paper application. Then I'll go to FedEx and I'll send it to the home office. That's because I had self-confidence and I asserted what I wanted. And then there was a time, same assertiveness, just to show you how it works, same assertiveness. I had to, my office was at the New Yorker Hotel. The New Yorker office was big enough for teammates, but it wasn't conducive to interviewing people. Even though the New Yorker was a hotel, they did not allow us to meet with our people downstairs. So we will take people people will come to the New Yorker for their appointment. The teammate will come downstairs, shake their hand, and take them around somewhere on the street to one, maybe McDonald's across the street or Essen down the block. Challenge is the New Yorker hotel is right next to a what? Meth clinic. So that New Yorker hotel area is full of methadone addicts. So you're there doing an interview and somebody's coming to you panhandling for money, smelling of meth, all sorts of things. And yet, and still, we were still doing 20, 30 recruits. Why? Because we had that mental game on lock. So again, assertiveness and effective communication are important. Next thing, folks, also, everything here is important, but this is something you also need to bear in mind. You have to master the art of visualizing success and celebrating achievements. Visualizing techniques are extremely powerful when it comes to shaping our self-image and boosting our self-confidence. People who visualize things accomplish way more than people who don't. The challenge here with many of us is we refuse to visualize. We're not going after anything extraordinary. We don't say things and do things that stretch our thinking, stretch our imagination, stretch our belief levels. So we have to master visualization. If I go around the room and ask how many of you have vision boards, the answer is probably next to nobody. If I say how many of you look at your vision boards every day, at least once a day, the number is even smaller. If I ask how many people look at their vision boards throughout the day, probably, maybe I'm the only person here, maybe there are two of us, but you have to do that. Because when you visualize your success and you affirm your capabilities, you are creating a positive mindset. So again, when you visualize success and you affirm your capabilities, you are creating a positive mindset. Why? Because your mind knows you're moving in the direction of what you're visualizing. That's just how it works. If every day all you're visualizing is, oh my God, I have to wake up and go to that office in the city, it's so long, it's so hard, it's so this, well, guess what? That's exactly what you're getting. If on the other hand, you're like me and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait for it to be morning so I can get my day going, so I can get to that office and go kill it. Different ballgame. Like I am literally excited to leave the house and come here every day because this is where my dreams come true. It's like going to Disney World. Is it always fun here? No, because I have to deal with people. But I visualize success and I work as much as I can to move closer to that success. It's important because I need to have a positive mindset. Additionally, recognizing and celebrating our personal achievements, no matter how small, reinforces our self-confidence. And again, when I say personal achievements, I'm not saying go do 1 by 1, 5 by 5, 10 by 10. Your personal achievement can be something as simple as you being here early every day. That's a personal achievement. That's a personal achievement. Being at the office or in the office area early every day is a personal achievement. Celebrate it. Setting your appointments on time every day, starting to set your appointments on time and setting the appointments you need to set every day. Great personal achievement. Celebrate it. You guys know the Pomodoro technique. Use it. You know how to prospect. Use it. All those things, when you implement them successfully, those are achievements. Every single one of those things, when you implement them successfully, folks, those are achievements. Every single one. You set an appointment, it's an achievement, celebrate. You set 2, celebrate. Have 5 people show up for Zoom, celebrate. That's just how it works. And of course, when you do that, building a support network and seeking encouragement from others can also provide a valuable boost. You have a whole hierarchy, not just an office, you have a hierarchy. You have me, you have Coach Mamba, you have other people. If you need help, ask. And then, of course, you have to remember, mastering self-confidence is a lifelong journey. Mastering self-confidence is a lifelong journey. It requires consistent effort and self-reflection. You're not going to master self-confidence by saying, hey, I'm self-confident. No. You need to consistently work towards getting self-confidence, and you need to continuously self-reflect. Am I doing the right things? Am I moving closer to my goals? Am I being the person I'm supposed to be? By understanding the definition of self-confidence and differentiating it from self-esteem, we get to build a solid foundation, folks, and that's important because your self-confidence is going to show up in everything, how you do things, what you do, and so on and so forth. So again, embracing our strengths, setting realistic goals, and cultivating a positive mindset are essential steps in developing self-confidence. My suggestion here to each and every single person is, if you haven't done so already, get your dream board. Get your dream board. Why? Because if nothing else, your dream board will move you in the direction of hitting your goals. Because when you look at it, like when I look at my dream board, I'm like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do this. I need to take action right now to get closer to that goal. So you have to do the same thing. Start by doing your dream board. Another crucial aspect, like I mentioned earlier, is overcoming self-doubt and fear. Challenge your negative beliefs. View failure as a stepping stone for growth. View failure as a stepping stone for growth, because that's all it is. Don't be too hard on yourself, like, oh my God, it didn't work. I'm going, no. Understand that everything happens for a reason. Push through those barriers and embrace new opportunities. What else? Develop assertiveness. Develop effective communication skills. And how do you develop effective communication skills in this business? Have your team meetings. I've said this numerous times. Some of you here have not had a team meeting in forever. Have a team meeting regularly. Your team might be full of people who look like they're from the island of misfit toys. It's possible. My first team in Primerica, everybody was laughing at them, but I didn't care. I had meetings with those guys and they were all men, incidentally. Then the next team was all women. Just what it is. But the point is, I had meetings with them all the time and I poured belief into them. One of them was like a police officer who was like 5'6" and 300 pounds. Yes, that happens. One of them was a clerk at 7-Eleven. One of them was the manager of a pawn shop. One of them was, can't remember. But the point is, other than the police officer, I prospected all of them while out and about. The police officer came from the guy who was a manager, who was a 7-Eleven clerk. 7-Eleven clerk sold cigarettes to that guy every day. So he's like, used him for a training appointment. The 7-Eleven clerk, incidentally, lived in an apartment. The police officer lived in a home. Challenge is, I couldn't ride business with the police officer because he had high blood pressure and was overweight. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, develop assertiveness and effective communication skills by talking to your people. Create a team. Even if it's you and one other person, have a team. But when I say be assertive, I'm not saying the kind of assertiveness where you're like treating new people like they're vets. New people, you have to treat them like a newborn baby. Treat them gently, treat them softly. Use active listening and empathic communication to foster understanding and build strong relationships. When you have that relationship, they've been here for a while and they should know better, yes, then you can crack the whip, for lack of a better term. But you don't do that with a brand new person. Again, also visualize success, celebrate achievements, surround yourself with a supportive network, provide constant motivation to your team, reinforce what needs to be done, envision your goals, affirm your abilities, recognize progress, and boost your self-confidence. So anyway, guys, I don't know how I was able to pull this through. Thought my voice will give out long ago, but it's still here. So anyway, to master self-confidence, you need to have a combination of mindset shifts. You have to have a whole new set of intentional actions, and you have to engage in a lot of self-reflection. It's a journey, no matter what you think, it's a journey, not a destination. And it's a journey that requires patience, it requires persistence, and it requires self-compassion. The good news is anybody can do it. Anybody can go from having no self-confidence to having a lot of self-confidence. It just requires work. And when you accomplish it, you will be happy you did, because now you'll be the kind of people magnet that everybody wants to be around. You'll be able to attract leaders, and you'll be able to attract followers to be in your circle. Of course, attracting leaders, in my opinion, is very important. They are leaders, they're not following you, but you want to have that network as well. Anyway, thank you for joining me today, guys. Let's get this going. Remember, get your vision boards, if nothing else. And yeah, see you at 6:30 for the other M3, which is actually M4. God bless Team Alpha. God bless